Looks like my appointment. Yeah, very good.
Yeah, very well.
2013.
Other program was there yesterday, Guru Maharaj. But we
Yeah,
finished that.
it's an evening program. So he's going to be singing at 4 today.
Ah,
The house last night. screen.
Hare Krishna, dear devotees, please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. I welcome all of you to His Holiness Candramauli Swami daily class. And today Maharaj will continue on Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 2, Chapter 9, Verse 13. Hare Krishna, Maharaj, please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to Srila Prabhupada.
Glories to Prabhupada. My obeisances, Hare Krishna.
So with your permission, Maharaj, I will share the screen.
Please.
Thank you. Over to you, Maharaj.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Brajeshbir Parito Virajate. Nasavimana Vilivir Mahatmanam Virotama Pramadottama Dayadudibihi Savidyud Abravadlir being Yata Navaha. The Vaikuntha planets are also surrounded by various airplanes, all glowing and brilliantly situated. These airplanes belong to the great Mahatmas or devotees of the Lord. The ladies are as beautiful as lightning because of their celestial complexions, and all these combined together appear just like the sky decorated with both clouds and lightning. Purport. It appears that in the Vaikuntha planets there are also airplanes brilliantly glowing, and they are occupied by the great devotees of the Lord with ladies of celestial beauty as brilliant as lightning. As there are airplanes, so there must be different types of carriages like airplanes, but they may not be driven machines as we have experienced in this world. Because everything is of the same nature of eternity, bliss, and knowledge, the airplanes and carriages are of the same quality as Brahman. Although there is nothing except Brahman, one should not mistakenly think that there is only void and no variegatedness. Thinking like that is due to a poor fund of knowledge. Otherwise, no one would have such a misconception of voidness in Brahman. As there are airplanes, ladies and gentlemen, so there must be cities and houses and everything else suitable for particular planets. One should not carry the idea of imperfection from this world to the transcendental world and not take into consideration the nature of the atmosphere as completely free from the influences of time as described previously. Omagyantimidandasya Ganajana Salakaya Chaksun Militam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prastaya Bhutale Srimati Bhakti Vedanta Swami Nityanamini Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pacharine Nirvisesa Sunyavari Paschyatyade Satarine Panchakalpantarubhischa Kripa Sindhu Vaevacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namaho Namaha. Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Srivasari Gaur Bhaktivinoda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. So here's a sort of a succinct, very narrative description of the spiritual world, at least a little bit about the atmosphere and the people or the living beings there. The spiritual world is completely free from any inebrities. When we try to understand the spiritual world, we usually use our own experience in the material world to try to get a little idea of what is beyond our range of the senses. But all of these ideas fall short of the actual reality. Actually, what we see here in the material world as we say, is a reflection, but not an exact reflection, but we call it a perverted reflection, a reflection that has the image, but not the substance. What is the substance? The spiritual essence. Where here in this material world, as Krishna says, Bhumir apanalobayu, kamana buddhi evacha, ahankar iti ame, bina prakriti astada. Earth, water, fire, air, ether, mind, intelligence, and false ego combined together make up the gross and subtle elements, which is the entire manifestation of the material essence, or everything is there. Outside of that, there is nothing. But within that is the spiritual beings, the living entities in the material world. So there is the spiritual element in the material world. But it's surrounded by this what is called jada, or dead-like material, which becomes animated through the presence of spirit. Spirit gives life or animation. It can't give life to something that is dead, but it gives animation. In other words, it moves, it acts, it reacts, it interacts. All of this is happening by the presence of spirit. But in the spiritual world, there is no element of spirit moving everything, because everything is spirit, everything is Brahman. But here, not only Brahman, but variegated. Just like we see in this world, there are variegatedness. You see various types of trees and people, colors, descriptions of varieties within the variety also. And the spiritual world is like the source, and the material world is a reflection of the source. But to try to find success or happiness in the material world, one cannot do that, because there is no ananda here. There is no sat either. There is no eternality. There is no ananda. And knowledge is simply a combination of material observations based on the senses, that's all, which are always mistaken, therefore always changing. But here we're getting a little description of the spiritual world. There's airplanes, just like we see airplanes. We think, well, the airplanes just came within the last 150 years. Before that, there were no airplanes. But there were, but not like the airplanes that we have today, which are just combinations of material elements, and they move by the force of wind. And aerodynamics, the science that makes the airplanes fly through various types of engines and wing structures, create a type of movement where the craft can go above the earth and still maintain itself. And that's a science. It's a material science. But in the spiritual world, there's no science, because everything is of the pure spiritual essence, and therefore everything works according to spirit, and spirit is not limited by material. Therefore, one can go anywhere, one can do anything, one can manifest different forms within the forms. But in this material world, everything is fixed. So there is a qualitative difference in that when we try to find happiness in this material world, we find that everything is moving, changing, interacting, and what was once one time is no longer present anymore due to the interaction of the material elements and the force of the time element here, which is mentioned. Time is the feature of material energy that brings everything about, moves everything along, and then ultimately destroys everything in due course of time. Everything goes through what we call 6 changes: birth, growth, stays for some time, produces some byproducts, gradually dwindles, and then it vanishes. That is the material energy. You can check that with anything. They go through these changes. But in the spiritual world, nothing changes. Everything is expanding in its own spiritual essence. So, therefore, nothing is created and nothing is destroyed. Everything exists in pure existence, which is spiritual existence, which means spiritual existence means eternal, full of knowledge, and always fully encased with happiness. In the material world, everything is temporary. There's some knowledge, but most of it is just speculation, therefore it's ignorance. And then you have what we're looking for in happiness in the objects that we interact with. It's not there. It gives you some relief from some material suffering. It's temporary, and then again moves away and becomes another source of unhappiness. That is material energy. The time factor moves everything and changes everything. But in the spiritual world, there is no time because nothing changes. Therefore, the time element is not necessary. So, therefore, one should see everything that we aspire for in this material world is there in the spiritual world. Therefore, we should aspire for the material energy. We should aspire to get out of the material energy and into the spiritual energy. And that way we can fulfill all our desires for longevity. We want to live forever. We can't live forever in this body because the body goes through the changes and eventually it'll be lost in time. We want happiness, but we get a little relief from some suffering. And we call that happiness, just like when you're hungry. That is a kind of a misery, to suffer or to feel the need for food. And then you fulfill that need, and then there's some satisfaction there. But then as time goes on, it returns again. So, and of course, to counteract suffering is not happiness. Happiness is of its own essence. What is happiness? Happiness is the nature of the soul's existence when it comes in contact with its source, or the Supreme Soul, or Krishna. Then it experiences its own true happiness, which is based on its nature. So we are happy by nature, but we need to connect with Krishna in order to experience that happiness. Or you might say, well, what about material happiness? Material happiness, again, is just counteracting material suffering. So this verse kind of illustrates what is above this material energy. What are the Vaikuntha planets? The word Vai means anxiety. No, I'm saying Vai means without, and Kunta means anxiety. So Vaikuntha means those places where there is no anxiety. This world is called Kunta, full of anxiety. Why? Because everyone is trying to fulfill their desires, but they can't, and therefore there is anxiety. There's anxiety due to loss, there's anxiety due to not gaining, and there's anxiety due to the time factor, which moves everything along. So this world is Kunta. But in the spiritual world, none of these elements are present. Everything is pure. And Krishna is there. And then one connects with Krishna in devotional service. And because Krishna is the source of happiness, then you find that happiness in your connection with Krishna in the spiritual world. Of course, to attain the spiritual world requires purity of consciousness. One has to elevate themselves beyond the material energy into the spiritual energy or the pure consciousness, And that pure consciousness is like, it's called clear consciousness, or that consciousness which has nothing material. So everything is there in the spiritual world. And that is actually what we are meant to experience. This material world is simply here to teach us, just like what is a prison house? A prison house is a punishment center to rectify your wrong activities so you can again get a chance to go back into the normal society and be a good citizen. So the material world is a prison house where we're going through a process of rectification, giving up our desires to try to enjoy separate from Krishna, and again connecting with Krishna as Krishna's part and parcel, Jiva Sarupai Krishna Nityadas. So once we do that, or at least we're on the path towards that, then all of the elements that we're looking for, happiness and freedom from suffering, knowledge, and permanency start to manifest directly, or at least they start to begin to manifest. And then when it becomes mature, and that is when we reach Ananya Bhakti that is free from anything material, then all of the experiences of our nature, such as eternity, bliss, and knowledge, become manifested within the soul's existence, and one experiences it in relationship to Krishna in devotional service. But as Prabhupada wants to make a point here, the material world, spiritual world, is not void. It's full of variegatedness. Just like there is variegatedness in this world, that's the reason why it's here is because it started in the spiritual world. This world is simply an expansion or a reflection of the reality. Just like the mirror reflects the image in front of it, but there's nothing in the mirror really except the reflection. So this world is like a reflection, or you might say a shadow within the darkness. It has no substance. Although it can be seen and experienced, it has none of the qualities that the soul needs in order for it to experience eternity, knowledge, and bliss. We say asat, asat, what is it? Near Ananda, no Ananda, and knowledge or ignorance. Ignorance or so these are the qualities of the material energy. And therefore, anyone who tries to find happiness here is a fool. There's a story where people are, they want happiness, but they don't want to go to look for it where it is because they like where they are and they think they can find it where they are. So the little antidote, one man, he's looking on the ground, and he's looking, and he can't find anything. So his friend comes along and says, "You're looking for something?" He said, "Yes, I lost some money." He said, "All right, I'll help you look." So they're both looking. After a while, the friend starts to wonder, and he says to his friend, "Are you sure you lost the money here?" He said, "No, it's not here, it's over there, but there's more light here." So that's our fate. Because we think we're seeing the sources of happiness in front of us, and we can't see those sources of happiness that are there within the spiritual arena. We look for it here because we think, oh, that's where it is. We see it. There's that beautiful boy or girl. There's that nice big feast. So many things that we place our consciousness on to give us some satisfaction. But it's just the design that attracts us. Behind it, there is no substance. Because the substance is in the spiritual realm and not in the material world. Okay, let's go on to the next verse. Sriyatra rupi urugaya padayom karoti nama bahuda vibhutivihi prankam stritayat kusamakaranugayar vigiyamanam priyakarma gayati. The goddess of fortune in her transcendental form is engaged in the loving service of the Lord's lotus feet. And being moved by the black bees, followers of spring, she is not only engaged in variegated pleasures, service to the Lord along with her constant companions, but is also engaged in singing the glories of the Lord's activities. So this is what the great souls do. They sing the glories of the Lord and they serve the Lord's lotus feet, which indicates devotional service. Okay, next verse. Tadarshata Trikila Satvatam Patim Shriyam Patim Yagna Patim Jagat Patim Sunandananda Pralabarhana Dibi Swaparsadagrai Parisevitam Vibhum. Lord Brahma saw in the Vaikuntha planets the personality of Godhead, who was the Lord of the entire devotee community, the Lord of the goddess of fortune, the Lord of all sacrifices, and the Lord of the universe, and who is served by the foremost servitors like Nanda, Sunanda, Prabhala, and Arhana, his immediate associates. When we speak of a king, it is naturally understood that the king is accompanied by his confidential associates, like his secretary, private secretary, aide-de-camp, ministers, and advisor. So also when we see the Lord, we see him with his different energies, associates, confidential servitors, etc. So the Supreme Lord is the leader of all living entities, the Lord of all devotee sects, the Lord of all opulences, the Lord of all sacrifice, and the joy of everything in the entire creation, is not only the Supreme Person, but he is also surrounded by his immediate associates, all engaged in transcendental loving service to him. So just like the example is here, when the king comes, he comes with all of his ministers and secretaries and sometimes his armies. So he never comes alone. And so the same way, the Lord is always surrounded by his eternal associates who serve him in different ways and assist him in his activities wherever he appears. Now, this is natural. And you'll see, sometimes you see pictures of Krishna, and you'll see there's either a cow there or some gopis, some cowherd boys, some other personalities there. Sometimes you see Krishna all by himself. That is not a bona fide picture. That's somebody's own speculation. He's always surrounded by his associates engaged in loving pastimes or engaged in assisting him in his mission in the material world, whatever it is. So that's Krishna. And one can qualify also to be a confidential servitor of the Lord if they elevate themselves to the high level of pure devotional service. And one can, as it says, Taktva Deham Purna Janmani Naitimameti Sorjana, one can qualify themselves to leave this material world, free themselves from this endless cycle of birth and death, which is we've been undergoing for so many lifetimes. The conditioned soul in the material world has been in so many births, one cannot even trace out one or two of them, what to speak of tracing out the entirety. But these are the realities of one's existence in the material world, because as long as we have material desires, we must take birth and accept another body and accept all of the encumbrances that come with the body. And so, but one who engages in devotional service can transcend these realities and come to the spiritual platform. And so that's the purpose of Krishna consciousness, to get you out of this material world and get you back to Krishna. Okay.
Thank you, Maharaj, very much for this enlightening class. Hare Krishna, dear devotees, if you have any questions, comments, realizations, I request devotee to raise your hand so you can ask your question. If you cannot ask directly, then you can write in the chat window and I can read on your behalf. Also, my humble request, if you can please switch on your video, because that's a nice way to interact with Maharaj in this virtual world. Yes, Sridevi Mataji, please go ahead.
Thank you, Vrindavan Nath Prabhu, and hearty congratulations on doing an excellent job so that we can see Guru Maharaj nicely, hear Guru Maharaj nicely. I cannot express my gratitude enough. Dear Maharaj, please accept our humble obeisances. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. It was wonderful to hear you, Guru Maharaj, as always. I have a question which was actually asked by Rasa Sundari Mataji, and I thought it's very important to ask you. She said, Srila Prabhupada, the great acharyas, they all do not ask for going back to Godhead. They say wherever Krishna sends, we are happy to serve. So is it a bona fide desire? Is it legitimate to want to go back to Godhead, or we should not ask for that?
We've discussed this point many times in our calls.
Yes, yes. And I did answer as best as I could. But for her sake and for all of us, I thought it would be nice to hear from you again.
Okay. In the first canto of Srimad Bhagavatam, it is explained that very few people want to go back home, back to Godhead. But if Krishna sees that there is someone, he shows them special mercy. In other words, he helps them attain to that spiritual realm. So, to desire to go back home, back to Godhead, is to, again, reinstate ourselves in our position in relationship with Krishna. In other words, our relationship with Krishna is based on our connection with him in the spiritual world. We have a connection here, and that is also based on our relationship with him. But here, there is so much other things that interfere with that relationship. Therefore, the relationship is either not continuous or not pure. But therefore, the Charyas do say, at least Bhagavatam does, that if one wants to go back home, back to Godhead, that is considered to be a desire that is perfect. But then beyond that, there is other statements which take the principle to a higher level of understanding. That if you want to go back home, back to Godhead, that means you're asking for something for yourself. So the highest form of spiritual practice is to be completely selfless, not ask anything for yourself. Yeah, this is the one I was referring to. Yeah, this is from 1-17 Bhagavatam. Yeah. Yeah. Most of us do not desire at all to go back to God, and only very few men want to go back to God. But anyone who desires to go back to Godhead, Shri Krishna helps in all respects. But then there are other statements that to want to go back to Godhead means that one is asking something for themselves. So the highest principle of pure devotion is simply to want to serve the Lord for the Lord's pleasure. That's all, not asking anything more than that. Let me serve the Lord for the pleasure of the Lord. That's all. And wherever he puts me, that's fine. If he wants to put me back in this material world, then I pray that he puts me in a situation where I can continue my service to him, in whatever capacity he puts me in. So that is beyond. When Prabhupada was not questioned, but someone said, is there some devotees, Prabhupada, that don't want to go back home, but they want to stay in the material world and preach Krishna conscious? Prabhupada got really animated and enlivened to hear that. He said yes, because I think Srila Prabhupada is one of them who, on Krishna's order, came to this material world, and on Krishna's orders continue to be preaching throughout the material realm, because this is only one planet and billions of planets. So yeah, now no one can criticize anyone who says, well, I want to go back to Godhead. But then again, there's another feature of bhakti that is beyond that.
Thank you, Guru Maharaj. Really appreciate this complete answer. My grateful thanks and obeisances to you.
Yeah.
Thank you, Mataji.
Alyssa, you're back. Wow, it's been a long time. Nice to see you again. Yeah.
You're on mute, Mataji, if you're saying something. Sorry.
You have to hit your.
Sorry, did you say something? Can you hear me?
I can hear you.
Can everybody?
I just welcomed you back. That's all.
Thank you. Sorry. Thank you. Nice to be here.
Yeah, after so many hundreds of years. Seems like it.
Yes, it certainly has.
Good, thank you. Yeah.
So, Maharaj, by the time devotee asks any question, when I read this particular chapter, I feel like the value of this chapter is because Krishna wanted to show that how beautiful a spiritual world looks like, and also that, as you mentioned, that it's not just void. There are so many beautiful, nice services available there. So that's the thing. Like soul always looking for to serve somebody. So is this the real purpose of this chapter, Maharaj, or am I missing something in this?
There's another meaning, another element is that we're talking about going back to the spiritual world, but we don't know anything about it. So if someone tells you to go to this place, you say, well, what's it like there? Nobody can tell you. So your inclination to go there may not be, there. But when you know about it and you hear how glorious it is and the perfection that exists within the spiritual world, then you're motivated to attain. That's a motivation to attain the spiritual world. Yeah. And so there are many verses in different places, Brahma Samhita especially, that describes the spiritual world, the residents of the spiritual world, Krishna, what he looks like, one of his different ornaments. All this is meant to awaken our attraction for Krishna and our desire to go back to the spiritual world.
Thank you, Maharaj. Thank you. Dear devotees, if you have any other questions, comments, please raise your hand. Nice sunny weekend.
We're in London too. We just had a nice bullock caravan from the temple to the farm that's part of Bhaktivedanta Manor, where there's, along with the cows, there's vegetables and various types of developments to bring about self-sufficiency, nice transcendental food that can be offered to Krishna. But when we offer, if you want to offer something to Krishna, you want to offer the best. So when you buy store-bought things, they're always somehow, what we say, mixed. They're never pure, and they're handled by people who sell these things simply for some material gain, some monetary gain. But if we plant our own vegetables, as soon as you put the seed in the ground and you cultivate the ground and you nourish the plant, you grow the plant, you harvest the plant, you take the fruit, you bring it to the kitchen, you prepare it, and you offer it to the deity. The whole process is bhakti from the very beginning. So, starting from planting the seed or cultivating the ground, it's all bhakti.
Thank you, Maharaj. Nice to see Rishabh Prabhu in saffron color. Congratulations, Prabhu.
Yeah, he's glowing. Today
Rishabh Prabhu.
we gave we awarded saffron to 6 devotees from different places in Europe, and Srishab was one of them. When he goes back to Croatia, they won't recognize him. And say,
thank you for all the blessings of all the Vaishnavas. I hope I will be able to serve you more.
that's the idea of brahmachari. Brahmachari means to get absorbed in devotional service under the guidance of the spiritual master.
I have a question, Maharaj, if I may, about Brahminical culture.
Sure.
I put a quote from Bhagavatam I was reading recently, and then I will ask a question. Vrindavanath, can you read the quote?
Sure, Prabhu. The bull and the cow can be protected for the good of all human society simply by the spreading of Brahminical culture as the topmost perfection of all cultural affairs. By advancement of such culture, the moral of society is properly maintained. And so peace and prosperity are also attained without extraneous effort. Shrimad Bhagavatam, Canto 1, so 1.16.18 purport.
So my question is because I was reading somewhere else that we cannot have Brahminical culture without cow protection, without cows, without milk, ghee.
Right.
So it sounds like you have to have one for the other, another for the other. So if maybe you can some comment on this.
Well, why are cows essential for Brahminical culture? Is that the question?
The question is that here it is written that for cow protection we have to have established Brahminical culture, but I think I read somewhere else that you have to have cows to have a Brahminical culture.
Yeah,
Because
without cows, there's no Brahminical culture. Because cows are the backbone of livelihood and the principle of worship also. And the cow is the embodiment of all the demigods. The cow, within the whole body of the cow is pure. The body of the cow is pure. So although it's made out of material substances, it has none of what we say contaminations of material modes of material nature. And cows create or allow for Brahminical culture to develop because yajna has to be performed. And in order to do yajna, you have to have ingredients such as milk, yogurt, ghee. These are essential. And those who do it according to tradition, there's cow dung, and cow urine also. It's called panchagavya, 5 substances from the cows. And the cow is so pure, you actually bathe the deity with these 5. You put cow dung and cow urine on the deity. And that is considered to be a form of worship. Now, any other dung and urine from any other animal is contaminated, but not the cow. So for yajna has to be there. So yajna requires these ingredients, which are the gifts of the cows. And cow gives milk, which is the most nutritious substance. Milk contains all vitamins, minerals, and essential amino acids to nourish the body. Milk is the healthiest food. Some people think opposite, but because they don't understand, they create this false philosophy. Because if you take care of cows, in other words, if you give them a happy home, grass, fields, care, whatever they need to live nicely, they will give you such milk that when you drink it, it's like so tasty and so flavorful, and it's also full of all of the healthy nutritional items that are needed to keep good health and to expand health also. The cow is like that. But when you're going to kill the cow is fearful. She knows she's going to be killed. So when you milk her, she secretes this hormone into the milk, which is poisonous and causes harm to the humans. So when they try to exploit the cow somehow or other reciprocates, not directly, but through her fear, and you get milk that is what we say. The Rig Veda actually says that milk is poisonous. In other words, it causes disease. So you have to understand how important the cow is and how to take care of the cow. Just keeping a cow is not taking care of a cow. Just like you have a child, just keeping a child is not taking care of a child. The child requires many things. Requires food, requires love, requires medicines, requires so many things. So cow also, she requires so many things in order for her to live happily and to give nice milk and and from milk you get yogurt. And what does cow do? She takes grass and eats it and turns it into milk. Prabhupada said, give your wife some grass and see if she can produce milk. So it's not going to work. But the cow does, because that's the arrangement of God for human culture, human society. And there's this cow fertilizes the field. Cow dung has all medicinal qualities. You can cook with cow dung. You can heat your home with methane gas, which you derive from cow dung. I mean, it's unlimited what the cow can give. And all she requires is a little love and care and some grass. And that's all. That's why we call her mother. Cow is our mother. So
Okay, thank
in
you. Yes.
order to have a civilized human society, you have to have cow culture or care for cows. Otherwise, if it's not there, it's just a barbaric society. That's a bunch of people just trying to squeeze out from material nature the gifts that material nature has and use it to make money so they can enjoy sense gratification. That's not culture. That's what we say demoniac culture. So yeah, Brahminical culture uh, is established when you first establish cow care or cow protection.
That's why so we first have to establish cow care, I guess, in a smaller sense, and then we promote Brahminical culture, and the more we are promoting Brahminical culture, the cow care actually increases more. This is how what I kind of see it.
Yeah, yeah. She'll contribute to all of the good qualities that are needed to organize a society. We see even people who have psychological problems, if they stay with cows for a while, the psychological problems are gone. This is a fact.
Thank you, Maharaj.
Thank you, Prabhu. Nice to see Sahil Prabhu. Maharaj Sahil Prabhu is from our Friday Bhakti Vriksha. Nice devotee in ISKCON South London. He and his wife both are serving very nicely, very seriously.
Is that where you are? In your area?
Yes, Maharaj.
Oh, nice. Good. Looking forward to meeting you. I'll be coming down that way in about a week.
Definitely, Prabhuji. With the mercy of Krishna, definitely.
Hare
We'll take
Krishna.
this Hare Krishna.
Dheeraj Prabhu, please go ahead.
Hare Krishna Guru Maharaj, please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to Prabhupada. Maharaj, as in the purport we read, there are men, women, so in Vaikuntha planet. So are there children, families too in Vaikuntha planet?
I didn't catch you. Your voice is a little muffled. The sound is not clear.
Hare Krishna Guru Maharaj, please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to Prabhupada. Can you hear me, Maharaj?
Now it's good.
Maharaj, as in the purport we read that there are men, women. So are there families, children in the Vaikuntha planet?
Oh yeah. Everything's there.
Everything is there.
Yeah, what you see in the material world is simply a reflection of what's in the spiritual world without the inebrities of material nature.
So, like here, there is birth and death. So how is it possible in Vaikuntha planet, birth and death?
There's no birth and
Children.
death, but there's a conception of birth and death, that's all. For the sake of Leela.
Okay. So the children come like the birth is there, then that is why children are there in Vaikuntha planet.
No, because we have families here. Where is the whole idea of family comes? It comes from the spiritual world. Krishna has his family. Krishna has his mother. He has his brother. He's got a sister. So, the spiritual world is the reality, and the material world is a reflection of the reality. That's all.
Okay.
Yeah. But in this material world, spiritual world, there's no inebrities, there's no sinful activities. But there's even there is past Krishna performs his pastimes in the spiritual world also. And there's no demons in the spiritual world, but there's a conception of demons for the sake of pastimes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you so much, Guru Maharaj. Hare Krishna.
Yeah, just go there, you'll find out everything.
Please take us, Guru Maharaj.
I already paid for your ticket, now you have to get there.
Haribol!
Thank you, Guru Maharaj.
You have to get onto that flower airplane. But if you missed the plane, it's not my fault.
No, I'll catch your fingers and we'll go all together with you.
We're simply clinging to your lotus feet, Guru Maharaj. Just waiting.
I think you're going to be there first.
Haribol.
I hope so. I sincerely hope so, Guru Maharaj. Only by your mercy.
You can welcome us back.
No, please, Guru Maharaj. Please don't say like this. Please, please, please. My obeisances.
Srila Prabhupada said, we'll create our ISKCON in the spiritual world.
Jai.
Prabhupada said, I'll be there to greet all of you as you come back.
Haribol.
But don't wait. Do it, finish in this lifetime. If you develop an attraction for two things, then you can make it. One, you develop attraction for chanting, a deep attraction. And two, you serve the Vaishnavas. And then you got your seat on the airplane.
Sure, Maharaj.
And it's a business class. No, it's not business, it's first class. You decide to go economy, well, it might take you a little longer to get there because most of the tickets are only first class.
Dheeraj Prabhu, you should ask question every day.
Yes, sure, Prabhu.
At least devotee will hear about the tickets to Vaikuntha and Goloka Dham. They will prepare themselves in that way.
Lord Nityananda, he's setting up the ticket booth and he's selling it. Bodo Suker Kabugai, Bodo Suker Kabugai. Sura Vikundeche, Namira Kuleche. Koda Nitai. Koda Nitai. Lord Nityananda. Any more questions?
So devotee, any question? Last question. We are just near to the clock. Yes, Devi Mataji, please.
Guru Maharaj, sometime back in one of the classes, you had mentioned clear consciousness comes first and then pure Krishna consciousness. I remember you made that distinction, but right now I cannot remember the differences. Would you kindly help me remember, please, by elaborating?
Vrindavan, do a little search on the database and look for clear consciousness. And there's some statements. You can, if you want to narrow your search down, look for it in the Bhagavatam. Just to get a more direct answer. In the beginning, from clear consciousness, or the pure state of Krishna consciousness. So it seems like it's synonymous. First contamination sprung up as false ego. Yeah. Okay. So clear consciousness is another way of saying Krishna consciousness.
Okay, Guru Maharaj, thank you very much.
That's one. You might find that terminology. Is there any other references on clear consciousness?
Three point 31.21, Maharaj. I will just go on that.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, it's I think in the same chapter, 26th chapter, 21 verse also have same concept.
Interesting. It's a statement you don't hear so much. Therefore, without being agitated anymore, I shall deliver myself from the darkness of nescience with the help of my friend, clear consciousness. By clear consciousness means keeping the lotus feet of Lord Vishnu in my mind, and I will not have to take birth again. Yeah. The term is used as synonymous with Krishna consciousness.
Thank you, Guru Maharaj. I have these senses.
Thank you, Mataji. Raji Prabhu, please go ahead.
Hare Krishna Maharaj. I had a question. But how do you balance material duties and spiritual duties, spiritual responsibility? How do you balance both? Because it seems like one has to give usually.
That's a question that comes up quite often. People want to know the answer, how they can balance. But one time I spoke about that and I said, the more you develop material activities, the more the material activities takes you further into. In other words, they expand. And the more you develop your spiritual activities, the more and more they take you in also. So, and when you're successful in one, it automatically expands for many more opportunities and many more varieties of the same opportunity. And the same with material life. So I don't think there's a possibility to balance. I think you should emphasize your spiritual life and do the basic needs in order to keep body and soul together, in order to live in this material world so you can practice your Krishna consciousness without any difficulty or without any impediments. So you'll see, as soon as the more you go into material activities, the more there are more responsibilities, obligations, opportunities. For instance, an example would be if you're working at a job and you're good at it, then you get more opportunity, you get a promotion, you get bigger pay, you get more, what we say, you get, you can do many things within the same occupation that you wouldn't do when you first started. So, yeah. So I would say you just emphasize your spiritual life and take care of the basic needs in your material life. That's all. Otherwise, you'll find yourself can't find that demarcation, and there is no real demarcation because both are expanding as you develop it. So, therefore,
Maharaj, like basic.
Say again.
The definition of basic needs can vary from person to person.
The definition of what can vary?
The basic needs.
Well, each ashram has its needs. So follow the rules and regulations of the ashram. But Krishna explains throughout, mostly in Bhagavad Gita, that Krishna consciousness is the middle road to balance. Don't eat too much, don't sleep too much, don't eat too little, don't sleep too little. Live simply where you don't have to spend all your time trying to maintain a band of relatives and a wife. Keep it simple. I'm just saying what Prabhupada says. I'm sorry if you're...
That's what we're going to hear from you, Maharaj, the complete, absolute truth.
No, if you can do without it, it's even better. But if you can't,
what? Sorry, Maharaj?
if you can avoid expanding your material life based on, all of the needs that come with family life, you can live simply. But women nowadays don't want to live simply. They want some nice place to live. They want jewelry. They want clothing. They want a house. They want all kinds of things. And therefore you have to keep working to make that happen. So if you can't stay brahmachari, at least if you get grihastha, live in community. That will solve the problem of excess or over endeavor. Living in community is the solution. And that's the way people used to live, even from the material perspective. But in the spiritual realm, community facilitates all of our needs nicely. We don't have to work for everything we need. Everything can be provided within the community based on labor and resources in a collective sense. And people can use what is available. And everyone can contribute according to their time, energy, and their abilities or their skills. community is a solution, and that's how people used to live in community. Sometimes we say extended family, but that's just a small example of what community could look like. Community is much larger, and the community centers its activities around worship of the Supreme Lord. So, if you try to be simple in this world today, you can't. The world won't let you.
Raj Mukunda Prabhu, I hope this answers your question. You're on mute, Prabhu.
Yes, Maharaj. Thank you so much.
Where are you now?
That's a very good answer to God.
Are
I'm just on my way, Maharaj.
you're driving now?
I'm just in traffic. Yes, Maharaj.
We're waiting for you.
I'll be there in 20 minutes. Maharaj.
Okay.
Yes, Maharaj. Let's see.
Okay. So
Jai.
much, and tomorrow, Monday, we'll be we'll be doing programs Monday, Tuesday, for sure. Those 2 days are guaranteed. And of course, we'll see about the rest of the week as things develop. Thank you very
Maharaj.
much.
Maharaj, there is one question, but I think we will take it tomorrow on the chat. It's going to
We can take it if it's a quick question.
it's a very big topic question, but I will just read out from Sonal Mataji. It's related to Radha Naam. So her question is, I have a question on, so sorry, she's saying we'll ask tomorrow. So.
Okay. All right, good. Thank you, Sonal.
So thank you, Maharaj, for definitely like very, very enlivening, so valuable, wonderful, and important messages today. Everybody got. श्रीमद् भागवतम की जय, शिला प्रभुपाद की जय, अनंत कोटि वैष्णव वृंद की जय।
Srila Prabhupada ki jai.
Hare Krishna. Thank you very much.
Maharaj, are you going to join today Bhakti Vedanta Manor Kirtan?
Of course, Madhava starts at 4 o'clock, so be there.
Okay,
4
we'll be there.
Yeah.
Guru Maharaj, where exactly are you at the moment?
I'm in Shamlal's house.
I can tell you that the quality of the video as well as the sound quality is excellent. I have never heard or seen you so clearly, and I pray that this same, feature can continue because it is really wonderful.
Thank you. This will do to Shamlal's techie ability. Good. Manohara Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Maharaj. Please accept my humble obeisances.
You smile anymore, you're going to break the camera.
Let me be here.
Good, nice to see you.
Yeah, Maharaj. Always nice to hear you and see you, Maharaj.
Nice to see all the devotees. We got Silpesh. Now he's become a dancer. Can't wait.
Manohar Krishna Prabhu, I will also take your word. Sorry, that nice to see Maharaj. Maharaj also have the same feeling. I request every devotee to switch on their video every time when they see.
So nice when I actually see, the Brahman effulgence is not so pleasing as the Bhagavan appearance. We get a little electronic additives in the Brahman effulgence.
Guru Maharaj, the effulgence and the atmosphere today morning was amazing, amazing with the Brahman initiation.
That was nice. Swayam Bhagavan Maharaj really
Created.
He's really powerful. Okay, so yeah, so Madhava and Shivaram Maharaj are here, and it'll start at 3 o'clock with another bit small group, and 4 o'clock Madhava jumps in. It'll go to at least 10 or 11 tonight, so 10 o'clock probably. So get on your dancing shoes, Sukhabaha, you got to be here.
I will be.
The hill, you can take a drive. It's not that far. Just come to the Bhaktivedanta Manor. It's only 2 hours by car. Davanath will take you. Davanath, when he's fired up, watch out.
True.
He gets everybody to dance. Trupti, you should come to that tonight.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Yeah, come tonight.
Hare Krishna, my Guru Maharaj, my humble obeisances to you. I am afraid I cannot, because I have my mother with me and who's not been well for a few months, and she's bedbound. So it's a bit difficult to find somebody for 4 or 5 hours to look after her so I can leave.
Keep trying.
I will try. And with your mercy and Krishna's mercy, I can make it, I'm sure. I am trying every day. Thank you so much, Maharaj.
Okay, thank you very much. Sri Devi, Melissa has really brightened up our program by coming back after 100 years of on a vacation.
Where is Bhaktin Melissa from, Guru Maharaj?
Huh?
Where is Melissa from?
Chicago.
Actually, Boston.
You moved.
I was always in Boston.
Oh, I get this is two Melissas. I was thinking of the one in Chicago. All right, you guys look alike. Well, thank you. She's a good friend of Anasuya. Boston, we got Soma Datri there. She looks like she's on the beach or something. Good. Kiran from Hardwar, all the way from the Holy Land of India. Wow. Amazing.
Hare Krishna, my holy expenses.
Thank you. Thank you for being with us. Lindy is driving all over Dallas. Okay. Thank you. Manshi, where are you from?
Hare Krishna Maharaj, Dhanush Pranam, please accept my humble obeisances. I am from ISKCON Ujjain Maharaj. ISKCON India. Yes, Maharaj.
In India?
Yes, Maharaj. ISKCON Ujjain.
Ujjain. Okay.
Yes, Maharaj.
My favorite place in India.
Maharaj, we are eagerly waiting for your association.
That is a nice big festival in September. Dheeraj will be. Susanna, we got to get you to travel a little bit more.
Hare Krishna Maharaj. Thank you for the blessings. Have a joyous Kirtan day.
Yeah. You'll be home. Okay, so thank you very much. We'll see you all tomorrow, and for the continuation of Srimad Bhagavatam. I would suggest all the devotees read the upcoming verses, and that way you have some idea. That helps to formulate questions when the class goes on. So read a little bit and get an insight of what's being spoken, and that'll prepare you more for hearing the next class.
Sure, Guru Maharaj.
Okay. Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you, Maharaj.
Thank you.
Thank
Thank
you
you
so much,
very
Guru Maharaj.
much.
Hare
Thank you, Guru Maharaj. Hare
Thank you so
Krishna.
much, Guru Maharaj.
Dandavat
Hare
pranam.
Krishna.
Maharaj. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you, Guru Maharaj.
Very well.
Guru Maharaj.
Hare Krishna, Guru Maharaj.